You are here now because something inside you recognizes that it can no longer be ignored. It is not a coincidence. You know there is something that needs to change, something you can no longer put off, and that brought you here. You feel it, don't you? That restlessness, that desire to move forward. It's almost as if something inside you is screaming for attention, asking to be heard. And yes, I know how scary that can be. Facing what is bothering you, what is holding you back, is not easy. But that's exactly why you are here. Because the time has come. Not to solve everything at once, not to transform your life overnight, but to start. To take the first step, no matter how small it is, because it is that step that will make all the difference. How many times have you convinced yourself that it wasn't the right time yet? How many times have you told yourself you were going to wait a bit longer, that things were going to get better on their own? But the perfect moment never came. Did it? It won't come. Because it doesn't exist. What exists is the now. It is what you do with this moment. And if you are here listening to this, it's because you are ready. Even if you don't feel it yet, even if you still have doubts, something inside you knows it's time to act. And let me tell you something, you don't need to have all the answers right now. Nobody does, you just need to start. Take a small step toward what you want. It can be as simple as admitting to yourself what is bothering you. Or it can be something bigger, like finally making that decision you have been putting off for so long. The important thing is not the size of the step. It's the fact that you are moving. And I know what you might be thinking, but what if I fail? What if it doesn't work out? Let me remind you of something important. Failing is part of the process. That's how we grow, learn, and evolve. It's not failure that defines you, but your willingness to try again, to keep going even when things don't go as planned. Because the true failure is not trying and failing. It's never trying. It's living in fear, trapped, never discovering what could have been. So now I want to ask you, what's holding you back? Is it fear? Doubt? The opinion of others? Whatever it is, it cannot be bigger than your desire to change. It cannot be bigger than the desire you feel to live a life that truly makes sense to you. And I want you to act now, not later, not tomorrow. Now. Do something that shows yourself that you are committed to your change. Leave a comment below telling me what touched you the most in this message. Say what's holding you back, what you want to change, what you need to leave behind. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be long. It just needs to be true. Also, subscribe to the channel. This space is for you, for us, to continue walking together on this journey of transformation. Each video, each message, is a step to remind you that you can do more, that you deserve more, that the change you seek is within your reach. And lastly, leave your like. It's not just a gesture of support, it's a commitment you make to yourself. It's your way of saying, I'm here, I choose to change, I choose to live. Because in the end, it all comes down to this: choice. You can choose to stay where you are, living the same days with the same fears, carrying the same weight. Or you can choose to take the first step. You can choose to start now. The choice is yours. It always has been. I know that making a decision like this isn't simple. I know that no matter how much you feel the need to change, there is still a part of you that wants to resist. That part that insists on saying it's not the right time, that you're not prepared, that maybe it would be easier to just stay as you are. But let me ask you, how much longer are you going to let this control you? How much longer are you going to accept living below what you know you deserve? You have felt that weight on your chest, haven't you? That exhaustion that is not just physical but emotional. That discomfort that follows you, even when everything around you seems to be in order. This weight doesn't lie. It is showing you that something needs to change. It is a sign, and ignoring it will only make it grow stronger. That's how life works. It gives you signs, small opportunities to act, to take control. But if you keep waiting, these signs start to turn into something heavier, harder to ignore. And I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying it because I know you feel it. Because I know that deep down, you've already realized that the time has come. The life you want won't suddenly appear. It won't just fall into your lap. It needs to be built, one step at a time, with conscious choices, with decisions that bring you closer to what is real, to what matters to you. Maybe you're asking yourself now, but where do I start? And the answer is simpler than it seems. You start here, exactly where you are. It doesn't matter the size of the step, whether it's big or small. What matters is that you take that step, that you do something to break the cycle, to move forward, because as long as you stay still, nothing will change. What you do today defines where you will be tomorrow. Think about it. What's holding you back right now? What are you afraid of losing? Or even better, what are you afraid of gaining? Because many times fear doesn't just come from the possibility of failing. It also comes from the idea that if you try and succeed, your life will never be the same. And that can be scary, can't it? Change means leaving behind what's familiar, even if the familiar isn't good for you. But let me ask you, what's scarier? Facing that change or spending the rest of your life wondering what could have been? You know it's time. Time to stop hiding, to stop apologizing, to stop waiting for a moment that will never come. There's no more room for excuses. There's no more room for later. It's now. Now is the moment when you decide whether you want to keep carrying the weight of a life that doesn't fulfill you or start creating something that truly makes sense to you. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It won't be. You'll encounter obstacles. There will be days when you'll doubt yourself, when you'll want to give up. But do you know what's harder than facing these challenges? Staying where you are now, staying stuck, suffocated, living a half-life. Because this pain, this feeling that something is wrong will only grow, and deep down you know it. So, what are you waiting for? What's stopping you from taking the first step? Because as long as you remain trapped in fear, doubts, and excuses, nothing will change. And I know you don't want that. I know you're here because you want more, because you know you deserve more, because you feel there's so much more to live, so much to discover, so much to experience, and all of this is within your reach if you're willing to try. Now, I want you to do something. I want you to ask yourself, what can I do today, right now, to get closer to the life I want? It can be something small. It can be admitting to yourself how you really feel. It can be talking to someone you trust. It can just be sitting in silence and reflecting on what you really want. No matter what it is, the important thing is that you do something. Because every little action counts. Every little step brings you closer to your truth. And I want you to know that you are not alone. Even if it sometimes seems so, even if you feel that no one understands what you are going through, you are not alone. There are so many people facing battles like yours, trying to find meaning, trying to break free, trying to live more authentically. And you are part of it. You are part of something bigger. But in the end, the decision is yours. It always has been. So, I ask you again, what are you going to do now? Are you going to keep waiting for the perfect moment, for absolute certainty, for an external sign? Or are you going to decide that it's already time to act even without having all the answers? Because the truth is, you will never have all the answers. And that's okay. The important thing is to start. I know these words may seem harsh, but they need to be. Because the truth you are avoiding is not going to disappear. It will not dissolve just because you chose to look away. On the contrary, it will continue to grow, manifesting itself at the most unexpected moments until you finally decide to face it. And do you know what is the hardest part of all this? It is not the truth itself. It is the constant struggle to keep it hidden. It is the effort you make to pretend that everything is fine when you know it is not. It is this invisible weight that slowly consumes you, leaving you more and more tired, more distant from who you are. But I'm not here to make you feel guilty. That's not what you need. What you need is clarity. You need to understand that what's paralyzing you isn't the size of the problem, but the fear of facing it. And this fear, as real as it may seem, is not invincible. It doesn't have the control you believe it has. It only grows because you feed it, because you put it at the center while leaving your strength aside. I want you to stop now and reflect. What's really holding you back? Not the excuses you repeat, but the real reason. Is it the fear of making a mistake, of not being accepted, of discovering that it wasn't as you expected? Whatever it is, ask yourself, is it bigger than the life you want to live? Bigger than the dream you set aside? Because if it is, then maybe you need to reassess what truly matters. The change you seek won't happen in a magical moment of courage. It will happen when you decide to act even with fear. When you choose day after day to put one foot in front of the other, even without knowing exactly where it will lead. Because change is this. A process, not an event. It's a construction, not a revelation. And I know you feel you're not ready, that maybe you need more time, more preparation, more certainty. But let me remind you of something. No one is ever completely ready. Everyone who has ever done something great started without knowing exactly how it would end. The difference is that these people started. They didn't wait for perfection. They didn't wait for the ideal moment. They decided that now was enough. And you can do the same. I want you to imagine for a moment, what would your life be like if you decided to stop waiting? If you said enough to doubts, insecurities, and the fear of not being good enough, how would it feel to wake up and know that you are living your truth, even if imperfectly? This is possible. It is within your reach, but only if you are willing to start. Now think about this. What would that first step be for you? It doesn't have to be something grand. It can be a small gesture, something simple that brings you closer to what you want. Maybe it's admitting to yourself what you've been avoiding. Maybe it's taking time to reflect, to connect with what truly matters. Or maybe it's making that decision you've been putting off for so long. No matter what it is, the important thing is that you do it. Because without action, nothing changes. And let me tell you something you need to hear. You are not alone. Even if it feels like it, even if you think no one understands what you're going through, there are so many people facing battles like yours. And more than that, there are people ready to support you, to walk by your side. But they can only do that if you allow it. If you are willing to open up, to connect, to say yes to the help that is available. Now let me ask again, what are you going to do with this? Will you continue where you are, hoping things will change on their own? Or will you take control of your life, even if it's imperfect control, even if you still have doubts? Because in the end, that's what matters. It's not about knowing everything. It's about starting. It's about taking action. And I want you to commit to this, not to me, but to yourself. Leave a comment below. Say what's holding you back, what you want to change, what your first step will be. It doesn't have to be something big, just right. Because when you put it into words, you make it real. You give form to what was once just a thought. And more than that, subscribe to the channel. This space is for you. It's a place where you can find the strength you need, the words that help you keep going, the support that reminds you that you are not alone. Each video, every message, is an opportunity for you to connect with who you really are, with the life you know you deserve, and finally leave your like, not for me, but for you. Because this gesture, as simple as it may seem, is a commitment. It's you saying to yourself, I am here. I choose to change. I choose to begin. The question now is simple. Leave in the comments. What are you going to do with what you heard? The choice is yours. It always has been. We have reached the point where the choice is yours. Yes, it's uncomfortable, maybe even scary, but you know it's necessary. You know that continuing to ignore what you feel, what you want, will only take you further away from who you really are. And I want you to know, you are capable. You don't need to wait anymore. You don't need a perfect moment because the only moment that matters is now. So, what are you going to do? Keep carrying this weight or decide once and for all that you deserve something different? Something better? Something that is truly yours? This is the time to act. It doesn't need to be a huge leap. It just needs to be a step, a small move in the direction of what you really want. And I want you to start now, yes now. Write here in the comments what touched you most in this message. What do you feel you need to change? What is holding you back? Putting this into words is the first step, and by doing this, you aren't just sharing, you are committing to yourself. Moreover, subscribe to the channel. This is the space where you will find more messages like this, more reminders that you can, that you deserve, that change is within your reach. Don't wait until later. Subscribe now and start building your transformation, one step at a time. And lastly, leave your like. It may seem like a simple gesture, but it's more than that. It's a way for you to position yourself, to reinforce the decision that you no longer want to postpone the life you know you deserve. It's a commitment to yourself, to the change that you know you need. Now I want you to take a deep breath and ask yourself, what am I going to do with this? Don't let this message be just another fleeting moment of inspiration. Use it. Transform it into action. Because in the end, only you can decide. Only you can change. I am here rooting for you. And you? Are you ready to take the first step? Let's go together.